Hey guys, welcome back. For those that don't know me, I'm Mark. If this is your first time visiting and you like what you see, please do me a favor. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It's really important in the algorithm and how this stuff all works. So, my glasses are fogging up because it's so freaking humid here. I've got some pretty cool stuff here today. I think, first of all, we're going to kind of touch on the Cory boat, just kind of brief you on where we're at with it. A little bit further behind than what I would like to be. But like I always say, I know it sounds like I'm on repeat, but I've been super busy at work and I've been working on my own boat and I've been testing a whole bunch and stuff, so pretty happy with that. And I apologize, Mike, but anyways, we're back on it here now. This weekend it's going to be rainy and shitty, so we're going to dive right into it. So cool thing though that I'm excited about is as the title of this video shows, we are going to go over the anatomy of a pro stock boat. So we're going to pull my boat around, we're going to uncover it. We're just kind of going to go through what these boats entail, some of the rules, why I'm intrigued by this class, what it takes to be competitive. I don't even know if I'm going to be competitive because I haven't been able to race. But anyways, things are starting to open back up again. Vaccines are rolling out. Looks like we're going to get down to the States here this fall and get to play with those guys down there. And yeah, looking really forward to it. One other couple of little things going on here. We got some really cool builds coming up. John Archer, legendary Canadian drag boat racer up here, has called me to bring us River Rocket here to have it re-rigged, which I'm super excited about. It's a really cool boat, 12-inch steel. James Ross Regan has a new HNR, or new, it's not new, but new combo that is coming here to be re-rigged, and that's super cool. And I'm not going to touch too much on this, but there might be a brand new boat coming here for yours truly, but we're going to keep that a bit of a secret for now. So anyways, I hope you enjoy. Again, like I say, follow along, subscribe, hit that like button, and support what we do. Oh, another thing I need to touch on, merchandise. I've been asked a whole bunch about merchandise. I am working on it. Trust me. We're coming up with some racers. We're coming up with a cool slogan for the back. I think that's cool, as opposed to just our logo, and we're working on a couple different things, and we've got it narrowed down, and there's going to be some merchandise coming. Hopefully a website that I can sell the merchandise through, because honestly I don't have time, and if I can change it to online orders and whatnot, then that'll be super cool. So anyways, lots going on. Make sure you follow along, enjoy the video. Thank you. You saw we put the boat in the water. Didn't really make any real full hits. We just more or less wanted to make sure it steered, had water pressure and all that kind of stuff. Lots of changes over the winter. I want to explain a couple things that was going on. We were testing at weight again. We always test at weight. The weight bias did change because taking the floor out and that kind of stuff. And so, although the boat didn't leave the way I wanted it to, it actually fell off almost a tenth in the 60 foot. And the air being really shitty, it was still quicker. So when we get the 60 foot back, which we will, I think we're gonna have a little hot rod on our hands. So today, that's what we're gonna play with. We're gonna head down and start playing around with the drag plate and the amount of trim delay. Duration, I think, is fine. Delay, it's the amount of time before it starts to trim. We need to work at that a little bit. So look at my boat. Actually, you can see the steam coming off it on the cover. So anyways, so yeah, just kind of want to explain a little bit. These are a little bit of a tricky deal. When you run these little pro stock boats, they don't have any power. They're a stock 200, so they don't power out like a 260 or 280 would, and you can come out a little bit high and smash it and hang that nose and set it down. These boats, they tend to want to come out and then slot back down, do the little death bounce, which scrubs so much off. It's terrible. The idea is to try to get it come out flat, nose up, and then just sort of power through it. Now, I had a couple people comment and say things that the boat's coming out too flat and staying dry too long. Yeah, maybe it is. We're working towards it, but again, we don't have a fucking drag on there. 400 horsepower to power through. The boat makes 200 horsepower, so it's kind of a whole different procedure. So you watch videos of it and then try and compare it to a 1,200 pound outlaw boat or something, pro stock boat at 1,400 pounds makes 200 horsepower. They're fucking not gonna leave the same. So anyways, that's where we're working towards. Get the 60 foot to come back around. We will. We'll kind of work feverishly at this sort of stuff. And then we're getting somewhere. Updates on the Cory boat, it's almost done. Man, I'm embarrassed that it's really taken this long. I work a full-time job, and then I do this stuff at home, and I'm trying to get my boat ready and that sort of thing. So anyways, pretty happy with the way it is here. I'm going to turn the camera around and show you guys some of the stuff that we've done. And inside here, just tidy things up. We went ahead and put the deck pass-throughs here, which Mike was okay with. Obviously, again, that's still just roughed in, but I think it makes it look so much cleaner. So, and then just Mike wanted to retain the big tank because he does want to lake boat it. And kind of working on some cool stuff here. We've got your return and your vent here, and I put bulkheads here. So they're gonna be nice, just nice clean straight lines. It'll pass through and up and out and vent outside of the boat. Got the full spectrum power batteries, 2 of them. Speed wire 80 amp relay for the big Weldon pump. Really happy with that. And of course, speed wire solenoids. You'll see 2 there, well 3, 2 for 24th in series, so that if one shorts out, the other one can still shut off. And the 12 volt, and then the 12 volt down is actually on the back side, back in here. We just used a stock solenoid there. I just didn't like the way it looks, so I tucked it around there. Because Mike's gonna lake boat this, I wanted 2 on-off switches. So basically, your 12 volt side is here, 24 volt side is there. So when he's lake boating, he doesn't even touch that. And then just in race conditions, it's literally just flip a switch, and he'll see the voltage up there on his gauge and know that everything's powered up. So really happy with that. Got the 10 micron aeromotive pump, or I'm sorry, filter here, and then the 100 micron up above. So yeah, we're getting there. It's we're gonna wrap this up here in the next week or so. So just touch on the inside, Mike's boat here. Mike wanted to retain the gauges. So anyways, I did that and just added the trim timer over here, mounted on a nice little carbon plate, you can see. And then we've got our volt gauge beside it, which basically has your system voltage plus your trim voltage there and whatnot. So it was just kind of tidy and tucked away and nice and neat. So, and then we added these cool switches here. So basically to turn on his data and the trim, nice waterproof switches, a backlight, and they're super cool. And those are etched, they're not stickers, so that won't wear off, and it backlights to match the gauges, which I don't know, I thought that was really cool. Then here we've got the in control shifter. This lanyard is over here. Again, this is still in the construction zone, so mind the mess there a little bit. Evo 4 is mounted right up here, and then we can run all our inputs back up in through here. So I don't know, it's just kind of cool. And then we used like a factory Merc key switch, and it's tucked here, so it's out of the way. And I always try and think of the driver, and I think of what are they going to hit with their hands if shit gets out of hand, or you start really driving or steering it. And so I want everything kind of tucked away, lanyards back there nice, and trim computer, not much chance of hitting anything up there. So anyways, nothing earth shattering, just kind of nice and neat and tidy and cool. We've got the 2 GPS modules mounted up here, the one for his GPS gauge, and then of course the one for the aim, and then just a terminal block and that sort of stuff, but just nice and tidy. So why pro stock? For me, I've always been super intrigued with stock motor racing. Back when I was drag racing cars, stock, eliminator, super stock, super intriguing how these guys would take these essentially stock motors with a camshaft lift rule and quadrajet carburetor and run deep into the 10s. Lots of RPM, big wheel stands, and they were just exciting to watch. And I guess I've never had a lot of money or residual income that I could buy super high-end motors and all that kind of shit. And to be honest with you, I think now if I did have, I probably wouldn't even really want that anyways. I just like the concept of extracting everything you can from so little. Pro Stock has a huge rule set. I think it's the longest rule set in the ODBA book, which makes you have to work feverishly at every little detail, leave no stone unturned, and like Dave Bush would say, be willing to pick the fly shit out of the pepper in order to be competitive. And I like that. That's always been appealing to me. pro mods and stuff, even when I was drag racing, I always thought they were super cool. And I mean, obviously the fans like them and people like them, but I can never grasp the concept of having more horsepower than what you could use. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you're fucking pulling power out to try and get things to go down the track. And I like the idea of trying to extract everything that you have. It seems, pro mod to me seems inefficient. I don't really know. Anyways, I'm not talking pro mod boats, I'm talking pro mod cars. So anyways, I like this class, and so we're just gonna go over and show you what it would take to what's in a pro stock boat, what it takes to be somewhat competitive. I don't know if I'm competitive, but anyways, I think I have a pro stock boat. We'll talk about maybe what the future holds, what I plan on doing. I feel that if you're going to be really good at something, you need to stick with what you've got. You know, a lot of guys in racing, I've seen it in all different forms, and the different forms, they're really quick to jump up classes immediately. Boom, move power combos, and if the fucking pro chargers, the big power combo this week, well, that's where I'm going. And I don't think you ever really get good at that. I think if you stick at what you know and continually work at it, you're going to get better. So I don't have any plans of moving up to pro mod or anything like that anytime soon. It'll always be stock type of racing, maybe super stock, we'll see. But anyways, I'll go through this stuff and follow along, hope you enjoy. Okay, so pro stock essentially is 1,400 pound, which is pretty heavy in the race boat world. 1,400 pound for a 200 EFI. I think you can be a little bit lighter with a 2.4 carbureted deal or something. I don't really look at that side of things, but pretty much everybody runs these laser injected 200s at 1,400 pounds. The motor remains box stock, untouched porting, no aftermarket front half. The only thing that you can change is you can run 32cc heads, which nets you compression slightly above what would be pump gas maybe. You can run a lightweight flywheel, and you can change the fuel curve. So essentially this is a fishing motor. I get teased about saying that all the time, but that's exactly what it is. Stock laser front VST tank removed. We're allowed to run a lightweight flywheel. You can run a factory Merc one from Brendan Powers, one from Diamond Marine. Anyways, unported, steel bore, no modified sleeves, etc. Factory cylinder heads that can be cut to net you the compression that you need. Or I'm sorry, not even the compression. It's not a compression rule class, it's a CC rule class. So anyways, and then ECU mapping, we're allowed to do whatever we want. Now, tightly guarded secret there for sure. That's where the RPM and the power is made. I can tell you that I don't speak a whole lot about this, but I can tell you that I turned this thing over 9,600 with stock porting, and a lot of that is because of that. Pro stock allows a 15-inch midsection and no lower, no shorter, no 12-inch, etc. Or you can run a factory 20 or 20-inch. I mean, we run the 15-inch, of course, kind of tucks the motor in nice. This is what we call a Bob's Coned 200 case. It's been pretty modified, really. There's a few other choices, but that's essentially what we run. Drag plate, what you see on there isn't necessarily what I run. We've spent a lot of time playing with all different shapes and sizes, and we're actually on to something a little bit different for right now. So, and then we have a skid planer here. Again, I've changed that 5 times and kind of found what seems to work on this boat. So just pulled the fairing off to give you a little bit of a show in here. Again, we talked about the 2 batteries and possibly 3. These were used when I bought them. That's why the freaking sticker's coming off, but whatever, it's fine. So here's what we do with the trim as a safety measure. Obviously we've got 24 volt up, 12 up, and 12 down. I run two solenoids in series in 24 volts. So should one solenoid short or weld itself, the trim computer will still shut the other one off and kill the trim pump. So it's just a bit of a safety measure. So they're not cheap. Those are very, very expensive solenoids I use, but you know, these are expensive boats. So as for monitoring data, I don't get super carried away. I would love to have data on everything, but it all costs money. So basically what I've got here right now is EGTs, both banks. I run an AIM water temperature sensor here. I run water pressure sensor that is in here. I monitor fuel pressure here. that's essentially about it. Obviously we use the GPS. I don't use a trim sensor. I probably will at some time. And there's some cool stuff going on with the AIM. A lot of guys are, you can basically use the AIM as a trim computer too. I haven't done that just yet, but I know some guys that have, and gotta kind of take a look at that. So basic cell, I think this is a 7-gallon, which is enough for what I use. Again, it's a cheaper cell, but to be honest with you, I like the concept of that because it was super light, and with these boats that have core and stuff in them, trying to get them down to weight isn't so easy. So, and nice end control shifter there. So that basically wraps the package up. I run Gopro mounts all over the place because I use them as part of, there's some back there, I use them as part of the data. Some of the string steering here, got some stainless clamps and stuff coming. They didn't have them, but anyways, we'll get back to that. I still haven't put a rub rail on the boat, which I'm going to do just because I think it finishes it off nice. But anyways, that's my Pro Stock combo. Again, nobody's really running one of these boats in Pro Stock this style, so I'm hoping that we can be pretty competitive. But anyways, we're going to find out soon enough. And again, me being a wiring guy, I'm a little bit stickler for protection, so I like to relay and fuse everything. We just got a nice tight little fuse block over here, and every circuit has its own little relay, little fuse, and that sort of thing. Fuel system, I use a 10 micron ahead of the fuel pump, a Bosch 044 pump, 100 micron post filter with a lot of surface area out to the motor, and then return back to the sump and a vent here. Again, those Bosch 044s, they draw a bit of current, but they're pretty good pump, pretty beefy. One thing that I am going to work on being everything black is I might insulate all this sort of stuff. Kind of knew that was going to maybe be a bit of a problem, but anyways. 2 volt freak batteries and 24 volts. So basically your front battery is your 12 volt. Your second one gives you your 24, and then a third, if I decide to run a third one for 36 volt. I just added. It's not in there right now. I've been testing both ways. So now from the office, here's what we have. My AIM data dash. It's a small little one. I just run the Evo 4S, which actually my data logger is up in under here. I would love to have one of the newer MX version ones, etc., but it's just not really in my budget. So that dash, really, the only time I'm really looking at that is during warm up and whatnot. So there's alerts and stuff on it. So it's small, but it serves the trick. So steering wheel here, we have 12 volt trim up, 12 volt trim down, green for the grass, 12 volt trim up. So in a situation where the trim computer doesn't do what I want it to do and I need to add a bit more trim, then I can just bump it right here. So how these trim timers work is I have experimented with both 12 and 24 volt. And I've had pretty good success with both of them. I haven't settled right in just yet. Anyways, to make a long story short, during a pass, when we're idling in at your 7 miles per hour, there's two settings in this trim timer. Basically, there's a delay and a duration. Delay meaning the amount of time from when I smash the throttle before it starts to trim, and then the amount of time that it trims for. Those settings are kind of, again, mostly tightly guarded, a lot like fuel map settings. So basically, I'm idling in at 7 miles per hour and, watching for the start, watching my opponent on the either side pairing up. At that time, when the light goes green, I tag the throttle, the trim timer immediately goes to work. Then 2 hands on the wheel, drive the boat. If I feel that it doesn't have enough trim, I can bump it up or I can bump it down. Try not to do that. I try and get it set in the trim timer and do its trick. Over here, I run a Speedwire switch panel that we designed with Speedwire, which was a super fun project. For a couple of reasons that I really liked having this kill here. Obviously we run a lanyard, which is rules, that does a couple of things. It actually grounds the stator to kill the motor, as well as breaks the ground to the fuel pump to shut the fuel pump off, which ODBA rules everywhere. This red button does exactly the same. So just in a situation where it's idling on the trailer or something like that, or you see something go bad, boom, it's a quick hit and it's out. You know, and then, I mean, the rest is just really straightforward. I like the fuel pump separate from ignition. Some people don't, but whatever. I like to be able to turn it on or shut it off, you know, when I want. Then I turn my dad on here, trim computer on, have an accessory that I don't use. Then I have a gauge here which shows my main battery voltage and then my auxiliary battery. So whether that be 24 or 36. So what's next? I don't really know. I know that I'm gonna stick with Pro Stock for a while just because I think it's super cool. I think it falls inside my budget. And again, like I spoke earlier, I don't think that you can truly get good at something if you just continue to keep jumping classes and move here and move there. So when I feel that I've, I'm not gonna say perfected it, but got to where I can't go any further, then, you know, maybe I move up. Next, I really like Super Stock, the kind of stock 280. Getting one of those motors now is like gold, so I don't know if that will ever happen. But yeah, I think we're gonna work at this boat. I think it can work. I do, as I spoke of earlier, might have something coming up in the works that would be really cool, but it would continue to be a Pro Stock style boat, or the possibility of maybe up to Super Stock. But anyways, we've got a long ways to go. A couple other things that I didn't touch on is the trend that we're seeing is down south. These guys are running an enormous amount of setback with the motor way up high and all the weight shifted back. Heck, they're even putting weight in the clamp. Basically cantilever the boat off the motor, and they're fast, and that intrigues me. I've met with some scrutiny as to whether that would work on this style boat or not, but I'm willing to try it, and I think it would be super cool. So, you know, we're looking at doing that too. So we'll see where we end up with this. That's a possibility, working towards that. And for next year, this boat will be back out next year. And then hopefully maybe the end of next year or the year after, the new combination. So anyways, this is where we're at. This is where the budget lies. This is what intrigues me. This is what excites me, and this is where I want to be. So again, thanks for following along. Please hit that like, subscribe button, share with your friends if you like what you see. Yeah, that's what makes the stuff grow. So I thank you.